Thank you. All right, let's bring the jury back in. We're back on the record on State versus Loyd. He's on the stand. His lawyers are present. State's present.
Jury ready?
State recognized presence of the jury.
We do, Your Honor.
Defense.
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know that I told you that we were only going to work until 1 o'clock today. I need to keep this trial on track. We have another witness that we need to get through today. Otherwise, we will not keep this trial on track. So we're going to work past 1 o'clock today. I'm hoping not too late, and I apologize, but otherwise it's going to delay the trial, and I don't want to do that. All right, thank you. And we will be breaking as soon as your lunch arrives. Thanks. Mr. Lenneman, you may proceed.
Yes. So when you came back from Volusia, you had decided you were going to turn yourself in.
Yes.
Okay. And so you're at that Lescott Lane house where you're staying, and you were arrested.
Yes.
And there came a time when you found out the police were nearby.
The phone calls.
No, when the police were coming to arrest you, at some point you realized the police were coming to arrest you.
Yes.
Oh, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so you end up turning yourself in.
Yes.
Okay. Describe what you do to turn yourself in.
I made a call to my brother, and I was letting him know that
We're not the call.
it's a tap phone call.
No, I understand, but there's been a ruling on that. So tell us what you do while you're in the house when you realize that the police are there.
So when I went to the house, came back, the safe.
Sustained. Mr. Loyd, the question is, when the police arrived and you knew they were outside, what did you do?
So I hadn't already I told God when I came to this house, because I came back for a reason, but I still got these thoughts, beliefs that the police is trying to kill me, but I came back for a reason I can't talk about. So I told him, when I take this off, if I put it back on, I'm not taking it off again. So I took everything off, the vest, my shoes. I took all my clothes off because I haven't had a good sleep. So I wanted to sleep. I wanted to rest. So I had this roof over my head. So I took everything off and I went to sleep. And the next morning, I made calls. Trying to turn myself in. So I guess the phone was tapped. So
Objection, non-response.
Sustained. The jury will disregard that last statement.
When do you realize the police are actually at the...
So now, all right, now the police, I see a light or something. Can't quite remember exactly what it was, but it was something that alerted me that something was going on. So I looked out the glass, thinking I see a copter in the air. So I go to the back door. And I kept the slide door open.
Hold on 1 second. Are you having trouble? I can't hear you, I'm sorry. You're to disregard the statement that was made. Yeah, thanks. Then it's going to be easy for you to disregard it. If I tell you, then, yeah. You're good because you didn't hear it, so there you go. Go ahead, Mr. Lennon.
So you find the police are there.
So when I went to the back, I moved the curtain, I stuck my head out, and the police, they light me up. So when they light me up, I go in, I'm like, damn, that's the police. So then I come to the front, and I go to the side door. When I go to the side door, I look out the side door, I'm like, all right, there's the police out there. So now, the voices is telling me, do not let them come in this house. If you let them come in this house, they're going to kill you. So now I go back into the room. I put the clothes on. I put the vest back on, and then I go to the front door. So when I go to the front door, I get down on the ground. Like I make myself small, just in case if they just start open firing on me. But I came back for a reason, and so I got down. I got small on the ground. So just in case they start firing at me, I didn't want to make myself an easy kill. So I got down on the ground and I opened the door. So when I opened the door, I had my shirt or hoodie, and I waved the flag. I waved the flag, the surrender flag, how you learn on TV. I waved the surrender flag, knowing that I'm surrendering. I waved the surrender flag, and I throw the shirt out. I closed the door. So I opened the door again. I show the first gun, and then I throw that out. Then I close the door. I open the door again. I show the other gun, and I throw that out, and then I close the door. Then I opened the door again, and that's when I came out crawling on the ground, and I came out crawling just in case if they start open firing on me, I wouldn't be a big target for them. So I got myself low on the ground.
All right. And so you were arrested, and
yes,
and charged for this particular case.
Yes, I crawled out to the road.
Sustained.
So you crawled out and you surrendered.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to go back to your Facebook pages, okay?
Yes.
I'm going to show you a few of them. First, I'm going to ask to introduce exhibit number T for identification.
All right, this exhibit will be admitted over the objections of the state as composite exhibit number 17 for defense, consisting of, I didn't count the pages, consisting of 8 pages.
So between July of 2014 and December of 2016, we're talking probably 900 days. Did you post Facebook posts?
Yes, I posted a lot.
Multiple times a day?
Yes.
Because we got to 30,000.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just going to show you a few of them. This is dated 1/18/2016. Can you read it?
Yes. You want me to read it?
Yeah, read it.
My words hold me, my actions show me. Nothing like actions. You can even think bad thoughts, but still give good actions. Words have power, and I try to watch the things I say. In my relationships, I want words of life and not words of death. I know sometimes I get out of word, but the person I deal with, I try to speak without the curse words. Just listen to that word, curse word. It sounds evil, the words we use with the people we claim to love. And you might mean no wrong. Sisters calling each other bitches, niggas calling each other's bitch, but we are causing harm to our minds, overloading on some BS bullshit. We need to reevaluate our minds in school. We need to reevaluate our minds. We need to reevaluate our minds. Schools tools and the slave tools we use to raise slaves, our children. Let's be free, lovers of truth. I love the truth. I'd rather be told the truth and hurt my feelings than you lying to me and hurt them even more. Because with lies, they have played with our life. They have played with our life. With the lies they have, they have our brothers killing brothers. They have our brothers and sisters and daughters, our brothers, sisters, and daughters, sons and mothers and fathers acting like they drinking blood and eating the body. The excuse for that is some BS. It's some BS because God has nothing to do with something that evil. Because in order, some of this is like, let me see. Because in order, it's supposed to be, in order of, put before, but it's, everything is not spelled right over in order. So, because in order of the blood, something had to die. When have you ever seen a movie where God was drinking blood or eating a body on any level? None. But the evil was the beginning of time. I tell you, the beginning of time. I tell you about that. I tell you about Genesis for real, which isn't the beginning of time as they want you to believe. But Genesis is the beginning of Genesis is the beginning of them, the white man, when they took over and bringing death to the land and the people. The serpent brought forth his seed through Eve. That's why Cain came out killing. He was evil, and that's how God, the bad God, flooded the land and wreaked death on any that oppose is true, that oppose if go up. Wreak death on any that oppose if that's true, but I still don't believe the devil can destroy all of God's creation. God will do no wrong, but he will defend for life and freedom and of the people. Warrior of God is who I be. God's son, free my people, and this ain't no dream. I'm woke on you, devil. Even if I got to come to hell and free minds, I'm coming. He sent me for you. If it wasn't for you, he wouldn't have had. If it wasn't for you, need not I come. For your time is limited. The truth is being heard, and I don't care how you switch it up on me. The Creator got me. And I got me. I walk through the valley of death and fear no evil, because evil fears me. The Creator is my light, and I am my own protector. With my mind, with my hands, with my feet, I defeat my enemies. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. So who shall I fear when I'm with him and him with me? Yah. Kill me, I'll be back. The system want me dead. They killed Trayvon, Tupac, and many others. Peace, God.
All right. What does that mean? What are you talking about?
Just talking about, that goes back to when I say you can even think bad thoughts but still good actions. I know some of the stuff I say is not good, because you can't let their hate become your hate. But at that time, I'm mad and I speak in anger. But I love everyone until I know not to. But what I won't do, I won't love my enemy, and I won't waste my energy hating you either.
All right. Show you another one. Did you read that?
Yes. We know this about our people, scared to face the truth when they kill us in our face. The time is here. I am here. They know who I am. I am love. I am truth. I am love. I am all power. You will not continue to kill minds while I'm here and kill me. I'll be back with 2 more just like me. I fear no evil. Evil fears me, the creator, and with him that I see, for him is why I live. He sent me for his people. Stop killing my people. I won't let you.
What does that mean?
Just all the hundreds of years we just been dying at the hands of the system, and it's the same people that created the system. Those are the same people that was hanging us from trees, and we still get killed to this day. Whether they're killing us in the streets or whether they're killing us in the courtrooms, we still get killed to this day on any level.
And read this one.
Give him good ideas, and the police good to be if they woke and not be with the shit, not be with the shit or with master. We need good ones.
And what does that mean?
I was talking to one of my Facebook friends, and they was talking about stuff for her son to do, and that's something I try to get my nephews, because all my nephews have no criminal record. They're not in the streets, so I try to get them to be police officers or correctional officers, so we got to make a change from within, and then that's where I talked about snitching on the police, because they say say something, and I say the same back. You can't tell me no police officer is not seeing these officers kill us when no one is saying nothing. So if you enable them to do what they do, you just as bad as them when you're not going to speak up.
Okay. And this is the last one we're going to talk about. We only did some selective ones, Mr. Loyd. Okay, go ahead.
Man, this is deep. Do you see the question they answer? Do you see the question that they answer you? I guess supposed to have been asked. Do you see the question they answer you? They controlling your minds. They know that I know. They are after me. They are going to kill me. The white man is Cain, the serpent's son.
And what are you talking about there?
That the system is going to kill me, that the system is going to kill me, that the police is going to kill me. And I always believe that. I always believe that because it's happening right in our face, and I'm not conscious of what's going on. I can't act like it's not going on when it's happening to me and my ancestors and the people that look like me. So that's my reality. It's probably not someone else's, but it's mine.
All right, Mr. Loyd, those are all the questions I have. Thank you very much.
Cross.
Mr. Loyd, you just told us that, according to your testimony today, you tried to get your nieces and nephews to become police officers, right?
Say it again.
You tried to get your nieces and nephews to become police officers, correct?
My nephews, yes, not my nieces.
I misheard you. Your nephews, you wanted them to become cops.
I try to get some of my nephews to step in this line of work.
And I don't know your nephews. Are they African American? Are they black?
Yes.
All right. And the reason you wanted that to happen was because you wanted to make change from within, right?
Yes.
In other words, change the system as opposed to trying to fight the system in that instance.
Yes.
Okay. Isn't that what Debra Clayton did?
What you mean is that what she did?
Debra Clayton, the woman you murdered, was a police officer, right?
Yes.
She was an African-American police officer.
Yes.
Do you have any reason to believe she wasn't trying to change the system for the better?
I don't know what she was doing, but at that time she was trying to kill me.
Right. Because it wasn't about race for you, right?
What you mean, race?
When you killed Lieutenant Clayton, it wasn't because she was black, right? Certainly.
No, it wasn't because she was black.
It wasn't because she was a police officer.
It was because she was trying to, because I believe someone was trying to kill me that shot at me.
Because she was trying to bring you into custody for the murder of Sade Dixon.
But that don't mean you have a right to shoot me just because I'm running.
Okay. I want to go back and I want to understand why. You made several statements about the history of racism in this country, right?
Yes.
And I would think you understand that you're not the only person who thinks that racism is alive in this country, right?
Yes, but I can't speak for no one else's thoughts. I'm my own man.
Well, when you post things on Facebook about racism, people agree with you, right?
I don't know whether they agree with me or not, but everyone has different thoughts. You have some people who agree and some people who don't agree.
So you were angry and have been angry about the history of racism in this country, correct?
Of course.
And you were angry about your view that law enforcement officers were part of that racism.
Yes.
Right? And that made you want to kill law enforcement.
No, not just law enforcement, the system, period.
Right.
Onto my housing.
Hold on, let me ask my question, okay?
Go ahead.
Law enforcement was part of that system, right?
Yes.
And that's why you wanted to kill them.
No.
No, it's not?
No.
Explain that to me, please.
First of all, before Walmart ever happened, I was trying to turn myself in.
No.
You just told me to explain it.
Explain to me why your desire to kill law enforcement did not result in the death of Lieutenant Clayton.
I never had no desire to kill law enforcement because I never killed a law enforcement. I wasn't out there killing law enforcement. You know how many black innocent people got killed before Debra Clayton came along?
So we all know Debra Clayton was an innocent black person, right?
I said, do you know how many black people was killed before Debra Clayton ever came across my path?
So let me ask a better question.
Yes, ask a better one.
I didn't see any posts from you on Facebook referencing the ones about officers referencing the death of innocent black people.
Say it again.
All the posts that you posted about killing officers, they didn't reference innocent black people.
It was happening at those times, and I was speaking out at those times.
So
of course.
It's your belief that you were posting because it was related to the death of...
It's not my belief, that's a fact.
Okay. But you would acknowledge that the post about the dead officers in Dallas never referenced anything about killing African Americans.
That's the time when they killed Philando Castro and Alton Sterling.
My question was, does your post reference that at all?
That's what I posted it for. You want to interpret it, mean what you want to mean, but I'm the author.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, you've already testified here today that you don't believe you have a mental illness, correct?
No.
Right? But you recognize that your attorneys have hired an expert on your behalf to say that you have a mental illness, right?
That's not what they're saying.
It's not?
No.
Okay. So if they say you have a mental illness, that shouldn't be listened to.
What they're saying, it was insanity at the time because of the heightened sense, the studies that they did, and my belief was already at that time, and then what the law enforcement was doing after the incident happened with Sade, what the news was reporting after the incident happened with Sade.
So it sounds like you have a pretty good understanding of what the expert's going to say, right?
I don't know what he's going to say.
Well, you just sat there and told me what he was going to say about heightened awareness.
Because he asked me about my life, and I told him about my life, and just like they said, it's a process, whatever kind of process they do, and they ask about my life, they ask about my childhood, they ask about all these stuff, the same questions that he asked, and I guess they come up with whatever they come with, and they asked about the situation and my beliefs, and then my beliefs at the time and whatever they came with. So they said the insanity at the time, because that's what they believed.
How do you know what they said?
Because that's my lawyer.
What Dr. Toomer said?
Because I'm talking, my lawyer decided. That's my lawyer.
So he discussed it with you?
Yeah,
right?
my lawyer decided this.
Now, the first time you were ever diagnosed with a mental illness by a mental health professional was after you committed this murder, right?
No.
No, that's not right?
No. When I was in Laurel Oaks, they tried to tell my mom I was crazy. That's what they said.
Right,
I didn't believe that.
But they told you that you didn't have a mental illness, didn't they?
They told my mom I was crazy. When I first got evaluated, they said they didn't see anything. Right. And the only way I would be able to stay if I admit myself. And the only way I would be able to leave if my mom signs me out. And they told my mom I needed long term. They tried to keep me 3 years and said I was crazy. And I told my mom to come get me.
And you were never prescribed any medications?
No, I don't believe in medication.
No, I didn't ask if you took them. I said you were never prescribed any medication.
No, I left there.
Okay. You thought your mom sent you to Laurel Oaks because you were dealing drugs, right?
Yes, she wanted to show me that selling drugs wasn't a way of life, but then when I got there and they went to talking to me, they went to talk about some other stuff. And they was trying to keep me.
You also saw a mental health professional in 2007, didn't you? Do you remember that?
2007?
Yes, sir.
I don't know, 2000, what mental health special?
Objection.
We can approach if you'd like, Your Honor.
No, overrule, go ahead.
I actually would like to approach on this topic.
Okay.
Ask your question. All right.
So, Mr. Loyd, do you recall
Mr.
seeing...
Williams.
I'm sorry?
Court reporter's not ready. All right, go.
Do you recall seeing a mental health professional in 2007?
I can't recall, no, I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. When you were living in California, you don't remember that?
A mental health, somebody in prison or which?
A psychiatric professional, yes, sir, when you were living in California.
Every time you travel from a prison to prison, they make you go through screening.
Right.
So every time you go through screening, they ask you questions. Everybody answer the questions that they supposed to answer to get the screening over with.
And part of that screening was a psychiatric evaluation. Right?
I guess that's what you call it.
Right. And you were never diagnosed with a mental illness during those screenings either, were you?
No one was.
No. To your knowledge, no one was. That's your...
No one was, because that's how the screening went. Everybody answered the question, they answered, so we don't be there long and keep going.
And they never prescribed you any medication after those visits, did they?
It wasn't a visit. It was a
screening. Screenings.
It was a screening that everyone goes through. When you go from prison to prison, they'll have you. It's called intake. They'll have the doctor come see you. They have a site. They have a site to come see you. They have all these different things. They classify you. So everyone answered the question that they're supposed to answer, so we can keep going instead of having it all day. So there's no evaluation.
So at a minimum, you knew what you were supposed to say in order to not be found mentally ill, right?
It was nothing about no mentally ill during the evaluation. What are you talking about?
I want to go back because you were talking with Mr. Linneman about how you had no choices in Carver Shores. Do you remember saying that?
No, that's not what I said. That's what you said. What I said was when you're in Carver Shores, it's most likely two things you're going to be, a drug dealer or a robber.
Okay. And you chose to be a drug dealer, right?
That's what I was.
But you had other choices, didn't you?
Everyone has choices.
Right. In fact, you got a job working fast food, remember?
What time?
16, 17 years old?
No.
You don't remember working fast food?
Negative. I had a job before I started selling drugs. I had a job. My first job was tinting windows, but before that, I used to cut grass. I carry a lawnmower on a bike and ride around and ask people in the neighborhood, do they want their yard cut?
So you had the option of doing honest work that you got paid for, right?
I did work.
Right, exactly. And do you remember there was a time when the people trying to buy drugs from you kept calling you while you were at work?
Yes.
Right. And,
I was 10 windows, like I said.
okay, I apologize, I misspoke.
Yes.
And you made the decision to stop working at the window tent and go to deal drugs full-time, right?
Yes.
Because it was more lucrative.
Yes.
You made more money dealing the drugs than working honestly.
Yes.
All right. But that was a choice that you made, right?
Of course.
Okay. In fact, you actually had an ability to work at a pretty high level, didn't you?
What you mean at a pretty high level?
Good question. So Mr. Linneman brought out that you worked 4 jobs at one time, right?
Yes, that's when I became a grown man.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So you worked 7 days a week at one point and then eventually cut it back to 6.
7 days a week. I never cut it back. 7 always there. 7 days a week, 6 nights a week, because at one time I had 4 jobs.
And one of the jobs was Texas Chicken, right?
One is Texas Chicken,
And you worked security for somebody, right?
a promoter, privacy.
Yes, sir. And you worked at the club for
At
security?
the strip club, Flash.
And what was the 4th one?
Washing dishes at Luma, downtown Luma's in Winter Park. If anybody know about Luma's in Winter Park, upscale restaurant.
So you were working almost all day, right?
Day and night.
Day and night, yes, sir. And you were managing to juggle and do all those jobs well, weren't you?
Yes.
Right. And you also managed your money well, too, didn't you?
Yes, if I didn't give it away.
In fact, before you got out of prison, you opened a bank account, right?
I opened, not before I got out of prison, when I got out of prison.
And you had studied how to build your credit score.
Yes, I opened up, first I opened up once, and then when this happened, I had 3 bank accounts.
You had 3 bank accounts?
I had 3.
Right. And even though you started with nothing, you were able to build your credit score all the way up to in the 600s.
667 from 0.
Right. Eventually, you saved enough money to buy a car, right? When you got out of prison, you saved enough money to buy a car with your mother's help.
Yes, I got my first car was through my mom because my credit score was 0. So I got a car in her name, and so I was paying like a month, $800 and some, $500 and something for the car note, and $300 and something for insurance. So I was paying like $800 a month for the first car. It was a 2015 Nissan Altima that I got in 2014.
And you found a place to live, right?
Eventually, yes.
And at some point, you had a landlord that told you you were the best tenant he ever had, right?
Yes, his name was Russell.
Because you paid your rent on time and took care of things.
Paid it on time, paid it ahead of time if he needed it. Because he was a personal real estate. He had different houses, so he would need money to do different stuff, and he would ask me for the rent early.
And during this entire time, you never once sought treatment for mental illness, right?
No.
And you never sought any medication either.
Why would I seek? I said don't believe that.
Yes, sir. I
Okay.
understand that that's what you believe. I'm just trying to establish the facts that show you're right, okay? So during that time that you were working all those jobs, you were also dating multiple women, correct?
Yes.
And you managed those relationships at the same time.
Yes.
And we talked about Texas Chicken, but there came a time when you were almost managing that restaurant, right?
Yes.
They let you hire people.
Yes.
They were paying you $1,000 a week.
Yes, I'm a leader, of course.
And this was all right up until the time when you killed Miss Dixon,
Yes.
right? In other words, this wasn't happening years before. This was right a month or 2 before Miss Dixon's murder.
I had both jobs when that happened.
Yes, sir. I also wanted to ask you about those robberies while you were delivering the chicken.
Yes.
You said there were 2 of them, right?
Yes.
And one was in October of 2016, correct?
I believe so.
Not holding you to that, just approximately.
The other one's in November. That's the one that got reported because Sade called the police because I was on the phone with her.
Right.
So she called the police.
Right. So the police came out and met you where you were,
Yes.
right? And they took a statement from you,
Yes.
and they investigated your robbery.
Yes.
And you had no issues with the police at that time, right?
No.
Everything went fine.
Yes.
Okay. And even though you'd been robbed, you kept right on delivering the chicken at night, correct?
Yes.
Even though you knew it was dangerous.
Yes.
And you did that because that's the way you made the most money.
Yes.
And taking less money to do a less dangerous job would have been a problem, right?
Yes.
So,
As far as my bills and maintaining in the streets,
yes, sir? So then you had to, according to your testimony, get the guns to protect yourself, right?
yes.
Now, at this time, you were a convicted felon, correct?
Yes.
And you knew that it was against the law for you to possess firearms.
Yes.
But,
But God's law, I can carry it.
okay, so you disregarded the laws of the state of Florida for that decision.
For God's law, I have a right to protect myself like anyone else, and I was paying taxes just like you and everyone else. So just because you made a law saying I can't do nothing, y'all made laws saying my people wasn't humans. What that supposed to mean? Does that make it right?
Right,
Does
okay.
that make the law right when the law says we're not human?
So you obey the laws
I
that
know.
you think are appropriate. Is that fair?
I follow God's law.
Okay. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a moment.
And so you knew it was unlawful to do what you were doing, right?
It was against the law.
Yes, sir. And in fact, you told your probation officer that you had been robbed, right?
Yes, the second time because it was reported. I took them both times. Yes,
Right. And he told you should get another job, right?
that's what he said. And I asked him where. This is the best job I ever had in my life. I make $1,000 a week. I'm running the store. I can hire anybody I want. I was helping my people. I hired my son. I hired my stepdaughter. I hired friends. Why would I want to leave that when I can make the most money I can ever make and help my people?
Did you tell your probation officer that you were carrying firearms?
Of course not.
Right, because you knew that was illegal.
Of course not.
So it's not as if you didn't know right from wrong. You knew right from wrong, right?
Who doesn't know right from wrong?
I'm just establishing that you did, Mr. Loyd, okay? So I want to talk another part about the robbery afterwards. You went on the second robbery, you went back looking for the kids who robbed you,
Yes.
right? You thought you knew where they lived.
Yes.
And your purpose in going back to look for them was to get your stuff back,
Yes.
right? So that incident hadn't scared you, right?
I'm not scared of no one,
Okay.
but I'm going to protect myself against anyone. I'm God's son. Who shall I fear?
So I'd like to now fast forward to when you were discussing the night that Miss Dixon was murdered, okay?
Yes.
She didn't invite you over there that night,
Yes, she did.
okay? And is it your testimony that she did that via text message?
She called me on the phone, and she was delivering text message.
Okay.
And matter of fact, the first message she texted me was, "Don't expect no baby," because she logged into my Facebook account.
I know you want to talk about what you want to talk about, but please answer.
Okay, go ahead,
Okay.
answer your question.
Thank you. Now, when you went to her house, you parked in front of the house, right?
Yes, I parked right in front of the door,
Right.
on the street.
And where did you keep the guns in your car?
I kept both guns on me,
So where on your person were the guns when you were driving around?
on my hip.
Both hips?
Yes,
One on each side?
yes,
Right. So you were angry with Miss Dixon that night, right?
negative.
No.
She was angry with me. I broke up with her and took her home. Check the text message.
So why would you go to her house that night if you weren't angry?
Because she asked me to come, and she was pregnant with my child, and I know her mother wanted her to get an abortion. So when I broke up with her and took her home, now she's back with her mom. So when she logged into my Facebook account and went into my direct messaging,
Mr. Lloyd, you're going off on a tangent, right?
it's not a tantrum. You asked me your question.
Go ahead. No, Mr. Lenneman, no sidebar. Continue, Mr. Lenneman, I have ruled. We're done. Move on, Mr. Williams, or go on, Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Your Honor. The idea of Miss Dixon not having your child upset you, right?
No.
It didn't?
What I broke up with Ms. Dixon is about lying.
No, Mr. Loyd, listen to my question, okay? You really wanted to have that child, didn't you?
Yes, I want kids.
Right.
As many as I can have.
So the idea of her not having the child upset you. I'm not saying that's why you did what you did. I'm saying the idea of her not having your child bothered you.
No.
It did not.
The reason I went around there because I wanted a child, and I know her mom wanted to get an abortion, and she's upset with me. And she gets an abortion, guess what? God gave her that right. But that don't mean I'm not going to try to talk to her to let her see the light.
Okay. So you want to stop her from having an abortion?
I didn't want her to get an abortion if that's what her mom would try to send the road to send her down.
And when you got out of the car to go see your pregnant girlfriend, did you leave your firearms in the car?
I keep my guns on me.
Right. You knew you were just going to talk to your girlfriend, right?
I had the guns on me before I ever went around there.
And you knew she was angry at you, right?
She was upset with me, of course.
Right. And you took your guns with you when you had that conversation?
I kept my guns on me anyway, so it was I had guns on me before that, so go ahead.
Okay. So when at some point, she pulls a gun on you, correct?
After I knock on the door, her brother gets her, says that Sade Markeith.
We heard your answer before. She pulled a gun on you, right?
Yes, she went and got a gun.
Yes, sir. All right. Now, even though she pulled a gun on you, you disarmed her, right?
On the back side of the house, yes.
That's right. You took the gun.
Yes.
So at that point, you had all 3 guns on your person under your control.
Yes.
Right? And then you said that her brother came out.
Yes.
Right? And you never saw a gun on her brother, right?
He had his hands behind his back, but I didn't think that at the time because I'm not.
Did you ever see a gun on Ronald Stewart at all, ever?
I never said that. I done testified that already before.
Okay. So you never saw a gun?
I never said that.
I understand. So the answer is yes.
Yes, I testified that before. You know that.
Gotcha. Now, it's your testimony that Mr. Stewart attacked you, right?
Yes, he attacked me.
Right. Now, when Mr. Stewart first came out, he suggested that you leave, right?
Yes, that's what he says.
And you had all 3 guns, right?
Yes.
And you had driven to her house, so your car was on the curb, right?
Yes.
So there was nothing stopping you from just turning and walking away and going back to your car.
Yes. Sade never asked me to leave. She asked him to leave.
Right. But certainly you knew that the situation was becoming escalated.
The situation was under control now. And when he came out, I told him he was straight. Sade told me he was straight, and Sade told him to leave. She didn't ask me to leave, and you know he testified to that. So the jury can know.
Oh, they're going to hear from Mr. Stewart. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
So you could have left, but you acknowledged that you didn't do that.
She didn't ask me to leave. I didn't come to see Ron.
And you didn't want to.
She didn't ask me to leave, and I didn't come to see Ron.
And you wanted to see Miss Dixon and confront her and continue to have this conversation, right? That's what you wanted to do.
I didn't come to confront her. I came to explain.
Right. And Mr. Stewart was getting in the way of your conversation, right?
He came out, and whatever he had on his mind, I don't know what he had on his mind.
Okay. Now, at some point, you start to shoot those 2 individuals in their own front yard, right?
At some point after he attacked me,
And we heard you say all that. I remember what you said.
and he attacked me in the yard. He attacked me in the driveway, and then we went from the driveway. Make sure you bring this evidence in because you didn't present this in the last trial. He attacked me in the driveway, and we went from the driveway all the way to the left side of the house, past the door. So when he got shot, he fell this way. And then the evidence says that these shots came from northeast of the yard, which my lawyer didn't present to the first juror. I didn't have a fair trial. The evidence said these shots came from northeast of the yard. Where her brother said I shot from, you could not have made that bullet path. And my lawyer didn't present it at the trial.
So I believe you testified, try to stay on track, that you shot because you believed Miss Dixon had gotten her gun back.
She had retrieved her gun. They fell out of my pocket.
But you're still not sure if she ever actually had it.
Yes, I believe she had retrieved it.
Believe is different than you saw her with a gun. Did you believe she
I never testified. I would not put nothing in her hand if I wasn't for sure. I said I believe she had it because after her brother attacked me, it went to a whole nother level because guns are involved.
Right, 2 of them were yours, right?
2 of them was mine and 1 was hers.
But you never saw her, you can't remember seeing her with the gun.
I believe she had retrieved the gun. Everything happened just like that. And I was attacked by her brother.
Your belief is different than seeing. Did you see her with a gun or did you believe she had a gun?
I testified already and I told you I believe she had a gun like I testified, Mr. Ryan, and you know this.
All right.
My story don't change, the truth don't change.
So it's your testimony that Ronald Stewart attacked you and you defended yourself.
He attacked me in the yard, and when he attacked me in the driveway, because we all 3 were standing together. He attacked me in the driveway, and we ended up all the way to the left side of the house, past the door. And it's a bullet trajectory inside a column, and they put a thing in the crime scene investigator, and it shows that these shots came from northeast of the yard, which my lawyer didn't present to my last jury. I didn't get a fair trial.
You're beginning to repeat yourself. You just said, okay, so listen to my question. All right? Now, when you were defending yourself because of your belief, how many times did you shoot Miss Dixon?
I shot a bunch of times. I was just shooting. I shot a bunch of times.
Right. So I believe you testified on direct examination that you shot Ronald first.
He got shot first.
Right. Even though it's your testimony that Sade Dixon was the one that had the gun.
She had the gun.
Right. And you shot the unarmed person first, right?
That's the one who was attacking me. He the one who started the attacks.
So how many times did you shoot Mr. Stewart?
He got shot once, and like I testified before, I never even remember shooting him twice. He said he got shot 2 times in the leg too, but I only remember shooting him once, like I testified.
So you would agree that you shot Mr. Stewart more than once?
I guess I would have to if he got shot more than once.
And you shot Miss Dixon more than once?
Yes.
And you actually discharged your gun 11 times at the scene, right?
That's what the evidence says, yes.
It is what the evidence says. And by that you mean the shell casings that were found?
Yes.
That match your gun?
Yes.
Okay. And there were no shell casings from any other gun that was fired that night, right?
No, but her gun was loaded with one in the chamber.
Right.
That she went in the house and got for no reason because she was in her feelings.
And it was never fired?
No.
The only person who shot that night was you?
Of course.
Now, on direct examination, you described shooting Miss Dixon and Mr. Stewart and then running to your car, right?
Yes.
You left something out. You want to tell members of the jury what you left out?
I got to ask you a question. When you testify, you don't just get up here and talk. You see how it goes. You got to answer questions. You don't get to tell your story. So answer what you want me to say so we can tell them.
Sure.
Go ahead.
You ran back to your car, you kept shooting at the house, didn't you?
When I went back to my car, when I went to the car, the door opened and I fired 2 shots, 2 warning shots for whoever to come to get down because I'm just reacting to everything that's moving around me. Everything is attacking me, and I'm just reacting to it. So when they opened the door, I just fired two shots. I fired 2 shots, and then I left.
How far from the front door were you when you fired those 2 shots?
I was in front of my car.
Right, and your car was on the opposite side of the road, right?
No. The car was...
It was on the near side of the road?
The house is right here, and my car is right at the curb.
Okay.
The other side of the road would be across the street with the neighbors. My car is not over there.
So it was on the side closest to their house?
Yes.
That's your testimony?
Yes.
Right.
It's in the evidence, which means it's my testimony.
Run all the way across the yard to get to your car, right?
Yes.
Right. So you were across the yard and you fired shots at the front door?
When the door opened, as soon as the door opened, I fired 2 shots.
And I think you just said that they were warning shots, right?
Yes. I wasn't trying to kill anyone as y'all charged me with attempted murder.
What's your definition of a warning shot?
I just fired 2 shots.
Did you shoot in the air?
I thought I shot in the air, but I guess one was to the ground and to the door.
Okay, so you acknowledge that the shot didn't go in the air, it went in the front door where the two people were standing.
That's where, there was no two people standing there, because as soon as they opened the door, they closed it. And that's what they testified to. So no one was standing there to even receive those shots. They even said that the shots was fired while the door was closed. And that's why the shots hit the door.
Because they had closed it before the shots
Because
came.
they have closed the door.
Point being that you shot at them too, right?
I fired 2 warning shots for whoever was coming out to get down, because I know this is a gun family and they have guns, just like I testified to.
But you didn't see a gun?
No,
No.
I was just reacting to everything that was going on around me.
Just like you didn't see a gun when Captain Carter tried to take you into custody either, right?
I fired a warning shot at him too.
And by warning shot, you mean a shot that hit his car?
Yes,
Yes,
hit his tire.
right, not in the air.
Hit his, no, towards the ground, hit his tire. But I'm trying to take the murder though.
Now, you've already acknowledged that you testified in your trial with Ms. Dixon, right?
Yes,
And you gave the same version that you just gave to this jury, right?
yes,
And they rejected that version and convicted you of first-degree murder.
yes, because I didn't get a fair trial, because just like I said, it's evidence, it's a bullet trajectory, and it's saying these shots had to come from northeast, and that's why her brother attacked me over here, and we ended up northeast. My lawyer didn't present this to the jury. Where her brother said I fired from, that bullet trajectory couldn't have never made that path, and he never presented that to the jury. They even moved her body. They moved her body twice before the police moved it. And I told my lawyer, I said, test the blood. That's her blood. Her body was over here.
Mr.
And they didn't do that. And I tried to even do it in this case right here, but y'all stopped it.
Mr. Loyd?
I'm trying to let you talk, but please
Go
listen to
ahead.
the questions, okay? So your claim in the murder of Miss Dixon and her unborn child was that you were defending yourself, right?
I was, yes.
Right. But you didn't say you were insane in Miss Dixon's case, right?
No.
No. And you didn't raise that as a defense in Miss Dixon's case?
No. That didn't come after to what the news was reporting. Now can we talk about what the news reported since he opened the door?
No.
Okay,
So
we can talk about what the news reported.
Is it your claim that your insanity developed in the 4 weeks between your murder of Miss Dixon and when Miss Lieutenant Clayton at the mall? Is that what happened?
The question that you answered, my claim that my insanity, did I ever say that?
No.
This is defense that my lawyer, when I talked to the expert or the psych, whoever I was talking to and him, that's what they came up with, because they know the story, they know my past, they know my history, and that's what they came up with. So you trying to saying that I'm putting this up? Negative, Mr. Ryan. I'm self-defense. But they came up with it because of the heightened state that the false reports that the investigators was telling, and they knew was a lie. They knew I didn't just come over here and just bang on these people's door and gun them down.
After you murdered Miss Dixon, you knew the police were looking for you, right?
Yes,
And you worked pretty hard for several weeks to avoid being detected.
yeah, to avoid being killed.
Okay, so let's explore that a little bit.
Go ahead and explore it.
You said that you knew the police were going to kill you when they started to put out the false reports,
Yes,
right? And that's why you ran away. That's why you wouldn't go to the police and turn yourself in.
yes,
Right, right. And it's your belief that you did nothing wrong at the Dixon house, right?
no, it was self-defense.
Right. And yet you ran away from that scene.
Yes. Why would I stay there? And I know this is a gun family, and I'm gonna put more people at jeopardy.
That's fair. So you were concerned that the family might try to hurt you.
That and I probably at that time I was probably thinking about the racist gun law too. So
But you would acknowledge that you didn't go and turn yourself in to the police that same night.
no, because I was trying to get my thoughts together. Because after her brother attacked me, it's kind of a blacked out situation. So now I'm trying to get my thoughts together. But when I see on the news what they're saying, can we talk about that now?
No.
So, Mr. Loyd, so you had an opportunity to turn yourself in before you ever knew what the police were going to say, right? If you believed that you had done nothing wrong, officer had got in your car, driven to the police station and said, they just shot at me, I was defending myself.
Just like I said, I was getting my thoughts together because it was a blackout. So I was getting my thoughts together, and then when I seen what the news played, I called my family members and told them these people are lying on me. Why are they doing this? They trying to kill me. That didn't happen like that. I didn't just come over here and bang on these people door and gun them down.
So when you say that you were trying to, or when I said you were trying to avoid law enforcement, one of the things you did was you were hanging out in the woods, right?
Woods, abandoned houses.
And at some point you came to believe that you were going to have a violent encounter with law enforcement.
I believe they were trying to kill me, of course. Why would you put out a false story like that? I mean, they know it didn't happen like that. They have the brother's statement.
So,
they have all the witness statements, so why would they put out that lie?
You took steps to prepare for that coming encounter, right?
What do you mean I took steps?
You purchased an extended magazine for your gun.
I took steps to protect myself, yes.
Right, right.
It's me against the army.
And then you paid for a bulletproof vest.
Of course.
Right. So the idea that a law enforcement officer might come across your path was not something that was foreign to you. You knew that could happen, right?
Yes.
Right. And you knew that your response to that would be to kill that person.
Negative.
Then why did you obtain
My response for that is to stay alive and defend myself against anybody and anything. Just because you think whatever you think, they don't give you a right to kill me. They don't give you a right to set me up and try to kill me. I tried to turn myself in twice before Walmart. Walmart never had to happen.
Look at me.
But y'all don't want the people to know that. I'm looking at you, Mr. Ryan.
Okay. You could have gone to the media, right?
Yes. No, my niece did go to the media.
No, you could have gone.
Negative.
Because
Negative. So I could have went to the media and the police beat her and killed me. I sent my niece to the media. Well, I didn't need to go. The police could have had the news retract a lie, and I could have turned myself in. Why they didn't do that? Why you not asking them that? Why y'all not questioning the police? Why they didn't just retract a lie and have this man turn in? Any sane person, no, if I'm an officer and I got a leg supposed to be murdered, he's saying he'll turn himself in. If I had a news retract a lie that the news told, I'm gonna have the news retract that lie when I know it's a lie, unless I'm responsible for the lie. So that's how I knew it was the police doing it.
try to calm down, Mr.
I'm calm. I'm calm. I'm forceful and aggressive, and I speak like that. So don't try to make it something that it's not. Mr. Ryan, go ahead. You can go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, these attempts to avoid law enforcement continued up until the morning you killed Lieutenant Clayton, right?
I was trying to avoid him at all purpose. What you mean up until the morning? I was trying to avoid that too.
So you parked your car in the Walmart parking lot,
Yes, sir.
and you took both your guns or one of your guns?
I only had one at a time because if I carried the other one, it had a extended magazine, and I can't conceal that.
Okay, so you knew you needed to conceal your gun in the Walmart.
Ryan, those are crazy questions. Who's not going to conceal their gun?
Okay, so where did you conceal it?
On my waist.
On your waist?
Yes.
Or back? Front?
On my waist, on my side.
On the side. I want you to be as specific as possible now. So you got your bulletproof vest on, right?
Yes, I got a vest on, Mr. Ryan.
You got your security shirt on,
Yes, Mr. Ryan.
right? And was it a holster or was it just jammed down in your pants?
Just jammed down in my pants.
All right, and this, we're talking about the .40 caliber, the silver Smith & Wesson.
The 40 caliber, the silver Smith & Wesson. Yes, Mr. Ryan.
So you didn't have an extended magazine on that gun?
No.
All right, and you kept it, did you put your shirt over it? Is that what you did?
Yes.
To make sure nobody could see it?
Yes.
Okay. And I believe you testified that you wore the security shirt on purpose to try to detract or put people at ease, was the way you put it.
Yes.
All right. And you've already told us that you saw Lieutenant Clayton that morning before the shooting, right?
In line.
Right. And in fact, you got out of the line that she was in because you didn't want her to see you.
Yes.
Right. So there was no doubt in your mind that she was a law enforcement officer.
No, I've said that.
Right. And there was no doubt in your mind that she was an African-American law enforcement officer. right?
Yes.
Okay. Because you saw her and the thought that you had was that she was an attractive female as she walked past.
Yes.
Right? So you certainly didn't feel like you were in any danger at that point.
No.
Because you had your gun.
Not because I had my gun, because she don't know who I am, and I don't fear nothing anyways, Mr. Ryan. So don't act like I'm not scared of anything, of anyone. I am God's son. Who shall I fear? But I would defend myself against any. If I have to fight a lion, tigers, and bears, that's what I will have to do.
So you walk out, and your testimony was that all you saw was a gun in your face.
Yes.
Right. And it was your testimony that you ran because you were scared at that point.
Yes.
Right. Because
I'm not scared. I believe I was going to be killed.
Right.
I'm not scared of nothing, Mr. Ryan.
because of the gun. That's what scared you.
Because I had a gun in my face.
Right. In other words, it wasn't the presence of a law enforcement officer, it was the gun that the law enforcement officer had. Right?
That's not what I said.
I'm asking you.
I said, just like I told my attorney, I wasn't 100% sure it was a law enforcement officer, but that was a possibility.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Did you know if anybody else who was trying to hurt you other than law enforcement?
Yes.
Who?
They had threats out on my family. They had threats out on my family. I guess Sade's people.
Not you. You. Not for your family. You. They're trying to hurt you.
If you read my dying declarations, I got it in there, but y'all don't want that to come into evidence, but go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
So you decided to run, right?
Yes.
And the purpose of you running was to get away.
The purpose of me running because I believe someone is trying to kill me.
Did you ever think to yourself that you could just put your hands up?
No. Why would I think that when I believe death is imminent?
Well, you had bulletproof vest on, right?
What does that mean?
Well, you told the jury that you knew a bulletproof vest would just knock you out,
That don't mean I'm gonna get shot in the vest.
right? You sure you didn't run away because you didn't want to be taken into custody?
No, negative. I tried to turn myself in 2 times before Walmart, right? So how can I run away because I don't want to be taken into custody? I was trying to turn myself into custody. But with the investigators planting lies to the news to try to set me up and kill me, that's what it was. It wasn't because I didn't want to be in custody, Mr. Ryan.
I think
Please.
that's about the 5th time you told us that,
Yeah.
so we know.
Go ahead.
So then you run around the pole, right, the column,
The column, the pillow column.
and once you're behind the column, you have cover.
If everyone's seen the video, I was never behind the column.
Right.
And I never had cover.
Before you could stop behind the column, you started to run in the direction of Lieutenant Clayton, right?
Before I made it around the column, I heard a fire. I heard a shot before I made it around the column.
When did you pull your gun out?
After I heard the shot,
Where were you in relation to the column when you pulled your gun out from your waist?
say it again.
Right. You started running away, right?
Yes.
Did you reach for your gun and start to pull it out before you got to the column or after?
After the second one,
What the second one?
the column, the one I never made it around. When I heard the shot, I pulled my gun and I turned around and returned fire.
Okay, and then you started to chase Lieutenant Clayton.
You can call it chasing. It was a gunfight.
Okay. Now, it's your defense, according to you, that you were defending yourself against Lieutenant Clayton, right?
Yes.
All right. So you had a reasonable fear.
I've had that, and it got heightened with the lies that was being reported. And I was trying to turn myself in. I never had to be at Walmart, Mr. Ryan. We're not going to talk about that.
But you've made several statements that you don't fear anything.
Negative.
Negative what?
I'm not negative. I don't fear. I'm not going to fear you.
Okay. I'm not talking about me.
Yes.
For self-defense, you were in fear.
No, I believe the police was trying to kill me. That's stronger than fear. My belief is stronger than anything. And I believe the police was trying to kill me, and I tried to show them, to have them to give me some kind of good faith. I would have turned myself in before Walmart never happened. They don't want y'all to know that, and I want y'all to know that so y'all can know those are facts.
Mr. Loyd.
Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry.
Focus on
Answer
Lieutenant
the
Clayton.
question you're asked.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Mr. Williams.
Let's focus on Lieutenant Clayton, all right? So you come around the column, and What does she do when you come around the column and you point the firearm at her?
She fired the shot already before I turned around and point my firearm at her.
I understand that that's what you think. I'm asking you.
No, that's not what I think. That's what I know.
Overruled. Go on.
When she comes around when you come around the column and you start to point at her, what did she do?
She's shooting, and she's running that way, shooting backwards.
Hold on, stop. Say that again. She's what?
She's running that way, shooting backwards.
Oh, it's your testimony she's shooting backwards at you.
Yes, she shot. She shot.
But regardless, she's running away from you.
She's still shooting.
Is she running away from you?
She's still shooting.
Okay. And as she's running away from you, you're firing at her back, right?
Yeah, we're firing at each other.
Right. And you know that she's a law enforcement officer at that point.
But that doesn't give you a right to kill me. You can be a preacher. Just because you are what you are, just because you wear a badge, that don't mean you have the right to kill me because I'm running. Y'all do that too often. You don't have a right to kill me. I'm not going for that. I'm not.
So, again, calm down and answer.
I'm calm. I was just told them I'm forceful and aggressive.
So, at some point, Lieutenant Clayton falls on the ground.
Yes.
Right? And you could have just run past her to your vehicle.
All right. I could have just run past her and then still get shot in the back.
Where you had to go over this.
And still get shot in the back.
All right. So you went over to Lieutenant Clayton to make sure she couldn't shoot anymore.
It's a gun battle going on, Mr. Ryan. So it's a gun battle. And my sight is focused on her gun hand. She's firing, I'm firing, and I'm running.
You were going to keep shooting until she stopped shooting.
When she stopped shooting, I stopped shooting. And she was still alive when I left. I don't know where I shot her at. I was trying to hit the vest. I don't know where, but she was still alive. So you want to say, oh, I stood over her and finished her off. That's a lie, Mr. Ryan. Debra was still alive when I left. And I seen her moving. So I didn't go and finish her off. She was still alive when I left. I never wanted that to happen. I'm not a killer. I don't even eat meat for that reason. I don't believe in killing God's creation. But you eat it. That's what you believe in. So here we are today.
And after you shot Lieutenant Clayton standing over her, you ran away.
I didn't stand over her. I was moving. I didn't stand over her. When I came around, when my force took me around, I stood. I never fired at her again. I looked up to make sure there's no more threats, and then I left.
You said that earlier. I think you said your momentum carried you towards her.
I guess my momentum.
Is there like an invisible hill in the Walmart parking lot, or what are you talking about? You were running, right?
If you're running, that's a momentum. When you're running, and then I guess my leg, however that stuff happened, when you're running, that's called momentum, Mr. Ryan. So what does the hill got to do with that? Didn't you go to school?
So then you started to go to your car, right?
Yes, I did, Mr. Ryan.
And the purpose of that was to escape, right?
My purpose to leave the threats, and then no more threats are coming.
Well, you knew the threat was gone because she was no longer moving, right?
It could be more threats coming, Mr. Ryan.
It's not that you knew that you had just killed a police officer and that was wrong?
No, it could be more threats coming. I'm still in belief that the police tried to kill me, and the police just tried to kill me. So it wasn't that, I'm believing. Come on, Mr. Ryan. The stuff you're putting together don't make sense.
So at no point were you afraid of Debra Clayton? Is that your testimony?
I believe that someone was trying to kill me. I fear nothing, Mr. Ryan. I believe someone that's stronger than fear. My belief is stronger than fear. That's stronger than fear. So if you want to call it fear, yes, I believe I feared the police. My belief is stronger. If I believed they was trying to kill me, I never had to be at Walmart. I could have been in the county jail, but they reported these lies, and now I didn't ask them to give me $1 million. I said, have the news retract the lies that y'all told. Why are y'all telling me these lies? Y'all been killing me and my people for hundreds of years. Why are y'all lying? It didn't happen like that. Can we talk about what the news reported? Because we have the evidence.
You would acknowledge that you had a warrant for first-degree murder, right?
I don't know what they charged me with, Mr. Ryan.
You knew you were wanted by the police.
I knew the police were looking for me for the lie people. I don't know what I was charged with. Because when it first happened, I thought Ron had passed and Sade was alive.
Okay, well, if Ron had passed, you'd still be wanted for first-degree murder.
Yes, I don't know what they were charged. It don't have to be first-degree murder because it's guns, other guns involved.
So
I don't know what it would have been, but the story they reported, I can imagine what they was putting together.
I wanted to actually back up because you watched Lieutenant Clayton walk out of the Walmart, right?
I didn't watch her, but she walked past me, so I had no choice but to see her, Mr. Ryan.
You could have turned yourself in peacefully right there, right?
Why would I turn myself in to people that I believe are trying to kill me? That don't make sense.
Well, Lieutenant Clayton was put in a shopping cart.
What does that supposed to mean? If she would know who I am, she can kill me. I believe that post.
It's your contention that she didn't know who you were because she said Markeith on the radio.
I don't.
The whole argument.
You just said that.
Mr. Lenneman, stand up when you're talking to the court. Your objection is overruled. You may proceed.
So there was nothing stopping you from tapping her on the shoulder and saying, I'm Markeith Loyd, take me into custody.
Yeah, there's something stopping me. I believe the police are trying to kill me, so that is illogical. My belief, that is illogical. I believe the police is trying to kill me, so why would I get the police attention, Mr. Ryan? That don't make sense.
I don't have any other questions, Your Honor.
Redirect.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay, come on up.
You can let them ask what they want to ask.
Mr. Loyd, you may move on.